Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious Podcast. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And on today's episode of the Ambitchious Podcast, boy, do I have a treat for you. It's my soul sister and bestie, Victoria Duke. And Victoria Duke is the mastermind, or as we call it, the mistress mind in Ambitchious, behind the luxurious, professional grade, high performance beauty product she appropriately named Victoria Duke Beauty. As a Paris-trained celebrity makeup artist, Victoria is the magic behind some of the most beautiful women in the world and is in high demand by an A-list clientele. With the creation of Victoria Duke Beauty, looking and feeling gorgeous is no longer just for celebrities and beauty queens. As she developed the brand, Victoria Duke Beauty, she insisted on professional-grade products with superior texture, foolproof wear ability, and high-grade pigments as absolute must-haves. Yet throughout her journey as a makeup artist, Victoria always knew that true beauty must always start from the inside. Victoria realized women needed more than just great products. They needed much, much more. Women needed to feel beautiful in order to be beautiful. And that's why Victoria Duke Beauty is pure magic. Victoria Duke Beauty is a creation that combines top technology and the latest technique with an infusion of inspiration and purpose behind each and every product. And as a result, you'll find in wearing Victoria Duke Beauty that no filters, no editing, or beautifying apps are needed. And not only does she own Victoria Duke Beauty, but she travels all over the globe as the official sponsor to Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, Miss Universe, and her track record of A-list celebrities will blow your mind. And she's also the owner and CEO of the Academy of Glam. And she also does a lot of transformational success coaching. Victoria is someone that I speak to every day. Like when we're both walking on the treadmill, we're both having these, mistress mind sessions where we're both speaking victory into each other. And I love her. I love her. I love her. I can't say anything more than I freaking love this bitch. And I know that you guys are going to absolutely adore this conversation. So without further ado, let's get into it with Victoria Duke. Hey, Ambitches, I'm here with my soul sister and BFF, Victoria Duke, and I am so excited to have this conversation today. It is going to be motivational, inspirational, uplifting. We're going to talk about the real, the raw, the nitty gritty, no holds bar. We're not holding back. Welcome, my good friend, Victoria Duke. Victoria, thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, anytime I get to spend time with you, it's an honor and it's so much fun. And I always learn and I am excited to talk to you.
By the way, we've also been on this recording for like 45 minutes before we even get on here. And I literally looked at Victoria. I was like, we have to save some for the people because me and her could just talk for hours. Right. It's insanity.
Well, it's so important to have somebody like that who you can bounce off of and who inspires you. And you're that person for me.
Well, peer groups are everything, right? Mm-hmm. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, right? And sometimes when you look around at your circle, it's not a circle, it's a cage.
Well, you start seeing, certain things, certain traits, certain habits, certain, that you're bringing to the table and you realize where you're getting it, you know?
Abso-freaking-lutely. So you've been in let's start from the very beginning, a very good place to start. So you've been in the beauty industry for how long, Victoria?
Well, let's see. I've been in about 30 years.
Wow.
I mean, that's a long time. And it's funny to say that because it's one, career, but it's evolved into so many beautiful, magical things, But yeah, 30 years.
30 years. So you've seen a lot of things go down.
Oh yeah, and I've seen a few things go up too. I'm just kidding.
I love you so much. So what inspired you to actually get into the beauty industry? Was there someone or something that like was the catalyst, or you were just like, I love this, I'm doing it?
I think back, and it's funny because my mom has pictures of me as a little girl, and
Shout out to
I
Ruth.
was putting shout out to Ruth.
Shout out to Ruth.
I was putting makeup on people like at 5 years old. Like I was putting blush on, and I wrote Elvis Presley a letter.
Stop.
Okay. Before he died, but I wrote him a letter to say I felt like he wasn't getting enough sleep and that he should wear under eye concealer. Now, let me tell you something. I was 7.
Oh my God.
Okay. So already I was finding ways to help people look better.
Freaking funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
so when you first started in the beauty industry, did you go to like beauty school?
No. I didn't. I did my friends for prom, homecoming, everything. I cut my doll's hair and put makeup on them. And I did so much of it that people would come to me near and far, and say, can you do me for homecoming? And well, then my parents would take us every year. They had art galleries. So they take us every year, my sister and I, to Paris. And they would buy art for the season, bring them to our galleries. And my sister and I were so bored that by 17, 18, I had concocted, if we just told them we wanted to stay home, we could have really good parties.
Absolutely.
But no, my Greek mother and my Italian father would not hear of that. So they put us in makeup school.
No way.
Yes, they put us in makeup school, and it was Jean Destray. And it's funny because a lot of makeup artists like Bobbi Brown and Vincent Longo have gone to the same makeup school. But it was wonderful because I learned beauty a different way than it is taught here. And I learned to look at the architecture of the face. True master makeup artistry is not about the presence of color. It's the absence of color and the presence of light. So that's really forming the face and the planes of the face with different light and dimension that make women beautiful.
Right.
And so often, it's just the simpler, like, let me pop some color on my eyes. And, it really is about the way light dances off you,
Every time you've ever done my makeup, it's funny because me, I'm a makeup whore. I love freaking makeup. Mm-hmm. But you were the one that really was like, you don't need all this. And when you did my makeup the first time, I was like, oh my God, I look like a freaking snack. And I don't have massive amounts of makeup on my face. It was like really what you just said, like where I would usually put like a lot of stuff, you took it away. And then when I did the photo shoot the first time with Carlos Velez, I was like, oh my God, my face, it looks like a totally different face because of what you just said, the structure. And it's almost like you're an artist, like you're a painter.
Right. And one of my dear friends, Scott Barnes, he works with that principle also. So there's a few of us and we feel like we're the masters. But I feel like beauty has to be or look effortless.
Yes.
Believe me, there's avant-garde makeup, there's, deep fashion makeup, and, those things can be done, but I really say that those should be, for maybe a little younger. I feel like beauty, look at Jennifer Lopez.
Right.
The prescription is an effortless beauty look, and it's skin glowing and radiant, and, it's light dancing off the face. And so that's the principles that I've based my cosmetic line on, Victoria Duke Beauty.
The best.
Thank you. And also our school, Academy of Glam, where we teach makeup artists from all over the world to become master makeup artists. And those techniques, I try and do two things: bring make life coaching a tapestry throughout every single lesson that they learn, because they need to know more than where to put the makeup on. They need to know how to find their own magic and their own beauty and their own purpose first, and then help women do the same. And I feel like it's not just a, beauty school, it's a beauty movement.
It really is.
And, it's about all the people that they're going to touch and make feel better.
That's huge.
So,
you're a boss business bitch.
Yeah, I
Because that's
gotta be.
another thing too, is people think like, oh, I'm going to become this makeup artist and I'm going to just be like on Victoria Duke's level and I'm going to be making this much money an hour. And it's like, honey, it doesn't work like that. Do you find that a lot when you're working with these young girls and they just look at you and they go, oh, it's effortless to be Victoria Duke's level? It's kind of bullshit. I mean, we've had this conversation outside of the podcast many a
Yes.
day.
I that's the one thing I try and reinforce. I think that they come into it thinking if I do a really good smoky eye, I'm going to be a star, But I said, I believe, there's a line that my daughter said she's going to have engraved on her arm one day that I say there's nothing worse than being ordinary.
Oh,
You've got to be extraordinary. And the truth is that's ordinary. Everybody can learn the technique to do a great beat, but there's so much more that comprises a great artist. And really it's that soulful connection, the ability, and this is for all women, to whatever you're doing, you need to have presence, because I appear when people go on stage, get married, whatever, some important moments of their life. And if I don't walk in like I'm gonna, handle this, and be able to establish a rapport and confidence with them, then, it's kind of, you'll never see a second time.
that's right.
So, but it has to start, beauty's an inside job. And I always tell the students, even this first transformation has to start with them. And it has to start with the way they feel about themselves, the way they see themselves. I always say, I look at people's obstacles and opportunities. Nobody's off the table. Everybody can look lovely. It just find their obstacles and opportunities, but that's the same with us, and I know I have obstacles. I know I have opportunities, whether it be in, as a woman, a mother, in my beauty regime. And it's about finding how to make the best better and how to get over the harder obstacles, get over them or under them.
That's right. And I have worked with you for years now. And every time that you and I either work together on a photo shoot or we do some kind of a collaboration where we have a photo shoot at my studio or we do something in Florida, one thing I will say is every woman that shoots with you guys and you do the makeup and the hair and the styling and all that, besides all that beauty, three-dimensional bullshit, one thing that people say over and over and over again to me is that Victoria always makes me feel so confident. And that is a incredible God-given talent that you have. So kudos to you for doing that.
Thank you.
And you always,
that's so important.
That's always your goal. I watch you because I watch what everyone does. I just love human nature, and I watch what you do and I watch what you say to people, and it's like you can make the most low self-esteem, low confidence woman that has literally no self-worth. You can just see it written all over her, and you can make her literally feel like a freaking iconic supermodel within an hour. It's wild to watch the transformation.
Well, because the transformation has to come from inside. And I have, I always tell the story that once I was at the Grammys and I was doing, some amazing stars, and then I had to take a red eye to get home because I had an event at our studio at 10 a.m. So I took a red eye from LA, and I said it was the most important clients I could have. It was a group of special needs kids, and I was doing their makeup. We have a party here for them once a year from a school that my son actually was in the program. He's autistic, and everybody has different exceptionalities in this group. But I wanted them to feel beautiful, but more importantly, or as importantly, I wanted their parents to feel that normalcy. So I was, I straight out of the plane, I was doing makeup again, on and wiping, drool and, whatever I had to do. But you know what? I felt that they were as important, if not more important than what I had just done. Yeah. And I thought to myself, this is incredible. It's so powerful because honestly, it's about beauty, it is not a calling that, people have or they don't have, and we look down upon them. beauty brings dignity, to everyone, whether, they're the richest, the poorest, the most beaten down, or the most regarded. It brings everybody to the same place, and it brings dignity.
I agree.
And that's my gift. It's a gift to me.
Yep.
That I can do that with the warmth of my hands and my soul. I will forever be honored to do this.
I love that. And that's honestly, and we've had this conversation a million times. That's why I do what I do. And you inspire me too. It's like so much. Like we just got done with a round of the A28P protocol.
Yes.
And I'm watching these women, and you were involved in it, obviously. And I'm watching these women go from like just so energetically beaten down and so low, and their self-esteem is so bad, and they're so like connected and married to these limiting belief stories. And then I watch them over the 28 days do their shadow work, do their meditation, do self-care, take time for all these things that they would never give themselves the time for, right? Because they always had an excuse. Right. And everything else was always more important than their own health and their own happiness. And then at the end of 28 days to see the transformation, not just like on the scale and in the measurements, but just like they're glowing. And it's like, even though what I do sometimes is like, what the fuck am I doing this? I'm sure you have these days too, where you're like, why am I working so hard? This is bullshit. I'm exhausted. Blah, blah, blah. But those are the days, like with you, when you went to the special needs celebration and you were doing their makeup and stuff like that. Those are the days where you're like, okay, this is why I fucking do what I do. That's
what I do. Yeah, that's why I do what I do. It's, there's magic in everything. We just have to see it.
Absolutely.
But when I was looking at, and I was reading everybody's story on R2D2.
Victoria calls it R2D2, by the way, and she's been calling it this for like literally 3 years. So yeah,
A28P. I was so moved as I was reading everybody's stories. First of all, I was so proud that they made the commitment and they took a step and they said, they stood up for themselves. And, we've all had those days. I do these power sessions, and I teach vision boards, and I'm a personal transformation success coach as well. And, and people assume that, and same thing with you, that, life is, there's birds chirping and, bells ringing, yep. But, I have seen everything, a woman has had to see at some point. And I've seen so much darkness that it really helps me, in my battle to constantly find light and to help other people find light, because it's there. But when we start defining ourselves by what's happened to us, we can't get out of that nightmare. We have to start having the vision of what we want to see. We get paralysis by analysis, you know, and I have, coached and been with so many women who say, I can't because I'm stuck, and I can't because everything always happens to me. And I can't because I look this way. I feel this way. My business is this way. My money is this way. And I said, that's the way it is at this very moment. What do we want? Because we cannot shoot at a target we can't see, Right. So we have to really see it. We have to believe it to see it, and we have to know exactly what we want to program for our lives. We meet ourselves where we are and we start taking little steps. And that's one of the beauties of your program, is that there's so many. It's not just like, okay, don't eat, bye. It's about every day, facing that, what you're thinking, what you're, having, thoughts. We don't think for ourselves anymore. Nope. We're so busy on other people's Facebooks and seeing their faces and other people's Instagrams and seeing their filtered lives and emojis, that we're not living our emotions, and we're not, I was at a wedding and somebody said, wait, I can't do this until I get my camera, and I'm like, put them down and live. I I love social media. I think it's a great way to connect us all. But when it starts taking over and we lose sense of who we are, that means that we're slowly but surely disconnecting from our power source.
That's right.
So hey, have all the fun you want on social media, but make sure that you're working on connecting to your power source, because individually we all have enough power to light up New York,
Yes.
we don't use it. We give it away. We, I feel like it's somewhere buried deep inside us under this story that we can't.
Yes.
And I'm here to say you can. I've overcome so many obstacles that, your mind would be blown. And the only way that you can do it is to believe you can.
Yes. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the obstacles that you've overcome in your life that has made you become the woman you are today, because I obviously know a lot of your story because we're so close and we talk all the time. But I think that you made a good point where it's like people see us on social media, with full hair and full makeup and in our in our element, and we look like we're killing it, right? But the truth is we have really hard days. We've overcome a lot of adversity. We continue to overcome a lot of adversity. So let's talk about maybe some of the hardest things that you've ever gone through that you kind of broke through that story or broke through that limiting belief to instill the motivation of our viewers and listeners from all across the globe.
Well, I'd like to first say that I do always have full hair and makeup.
You
on.
do.
No,
I think you sleep like that. I think you just wake up in the morning, you're like, hello.
No. What the funny thing is, even my husband laughs about this. I'll go to the bathroom in the morning and I'll brush my hair. I'll put a little lip gloss on. I'll put my eyelash conditioner and I'll come back to bed and he's like, what? Did you sleep? But honestly, I do that for myself. Psychologically, even, there were studies taken, even when people work out, if they have pulled themselves together, they'll work out more effectively and efficiently.
Yep.
So everything that we do is based upon that visceral reaction when we see ourselves. And so we can see ourselves and go, all right, my hair's brushed, my skin's glowing. But, so I want to talk about that too, is that you do have to do it for yourself. Okay. But I've been through so many things. I lost my mother and my father, both at an early age. And your
mom was like your BFF, right? Ruth was it.
She was my mentor, my best friend. She inspired me. And she taught me so much that I use every day. So in a way, I feel like she lives on in me. And she
lives on in me as well.
Yeah.
Because we both act Ruthy sometimes.
We always, for our audience listening, Ruth had some funny Ruthisms. And and we see ourselves, that in ourselves, Katie and I. And so we'll go, I'm pulling a Ruth, Oh, and we both know what we mean.
Well, she was just like, I want to, the funny part about Ruth, and obviously I don't know her, but I feel like I do through you, is she would always be like, oh yeah, we're going to have this big party and we're going to do all this stuff. And then the day of the party would come and she's like, I don't want to go to my own party.
I don't feel like it.
And that's so us, right?
Yeah. So us. And then once we get, she's like, you talk to the people. But once we get talking, honey, we don't sit down.
Oh yeah. Same.
And that was Ruth. But I have been through a lot. So I had to, that adversity of
losing both your parents. I mean, that's a lot.
And at the same, or not at the same time, actually, before I gave birth to my beautiful daughter, I tried 7 years to get pregnant, and I was pregnant, and then I lost the baby.
Wow.
Then a few months later, I got pregnant again because I decided I was going to. And it's funny because my friend, who again is a mentor to me, Deb Mellon, and she said, hey, okay, and this is something you would do. And this is the principle that I want to teach you guys or share with you. She said, hey, listen, where do you want to get pregnant? Let's pick it on the map. We have points. Let's go. So I'm like, so we decide we want somewhere cool. And this is after, I'd lost a baby and I was devastated. And so we pick, where did we? Oh, San Francisco. And, I took my little ovulation kit. I was like testing my ovulation every day on the plane, when we got there. And I remember we pulled up, for a stop, we were doing wine country and my ovulation kicked in and I'm like, I gotta go. But sure enough, I got pregnant and I have the love of my life, Chloe, who's my daughter. And a couple months later, after I had her, I got pregnant again. And I thought, my God, this is too easy, and I had my son who has taught me more than I can have ever taught him. But he had so many health issues, including he needed open heart surgery. I mean, he had 6 surgeries.
Wow.
And he's severely autistic. So that was a lot to overcome because I had to navigate, number one, that for my whole family, I had a small baby in Chloe. She was 15 months when he was born.
Wow.
I had a marriage that is really difficult, for a lot of people to accept. And I think that was the case for my husband at the time. But, it wasn't an easy road. And eventually it led to divorce. And so then I found myself a divorced mother of a special needs child and a baby. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah. And it happened quick. Like it was in the span of like 2 years that all this stuff happened.
Everything. And my mother died. And, it's like, okay.
Wow. And you were working.
I was working.
Just throw that in there too.
Well, I had to work because now I'm a single mom with 2 kids. So I had to figure out, how do I work as a makeup artist, making people lovely. And, and I'm trying to pay the bills and take care of a severely, handicapped child. And so it was, but you know what? People say to me, my God, how did you do it? And I think, I don't know. I just
did.
So you just get it done.
Right.
Somehow.
And I'd also like to say, for the people out there in Ambitchious land, Victoria is one of the people that I literally have never heard her complain in my life. I swear to you, hand to heart, I never have heard you complain about anything. Like you never say, woe is me. Why did God deal me this deck of, car, whatever, all the shit that people say all the freaking time, I've never, ever, ever heard you ever utter anything like that in your life. And that's probably why you are doing what you're doing in this day and age, because you never allow. I'm sure you had like low times and depressed times and sad times and all that stuff. Oh yeah. Dark ass times, right?
Dark ass times that I had to, and I relate to other women with this. Just, yes. That's one of the things when I even reading, the stories of some of your clients that were on this ambitious journey together. And I relate it to, there were nights that, I would say to myself, stay close to the light, stay close to the light. I'd have to keep telling myself that. Mm-hmm. And what I did was the night before, I'd have to, I'd get up at 6. I'd have to drive one child to one school and one to another and figure out how to work and who was going to pick them up. And anyway, I'd write myself a love note. And I put it by their lunches. I'd write them one and then I'd write myself one. And I'd say, I'm so proud of you. You're so strong. You're a better mother than I would have ever thought. Like really things that I would hope someone would say to me. But you know what? I'm pretty important. Why don't I say it to me? And I'd say, stick it out. You're going to do this, and I'd go to sleep. And again, I'd say, stay close to the light, because I'd feel myself like, this is so dark. How am I going to breathe?
Yep.
And I'd get up and I'd see that love letter, and I'd say, right on, you keep going. And you have to have that spirit. I mean, honestly, I believe it's such a gift to be able to have a sense of hope, even in the darkest times. And there are very few times that I have felt hopeless. And when I did, it was bad. And but I wouldn't let it go on long.
That's right.
And that's the thing. We are, the power of our thoughts really dictate the happiness in our life. And I'd say, if I give power to this thought and I give power to this life and I keep dragging it with me, then that's what I have.
Yeah.
But I have to be able to, and sometimes you're so low you can't.
Oh, I know. I've been there before,
You
and I've
know.
watched my clients be, yeah, absolutely. And you just made such a good point. I want to just kind of reiterate for the listeners out there is you were validating yourself with those love letters. By the way, I love that idea. I've never heard of this in my life, and I've been in this industry for a really long time, and I just like my heart is just exploding. Like I just love this idea so much.
I would even spray perfume on them.
Oh my God, I love that. So Elle Woods of you. Oh my gosh. Was it on pink paper as well?
No, it's probably any scrap of paper, napkins. No.
And you were writing this love letter to yourself and you were validating yourself. And I had one girl on the protocol this month that wrote yesterday how one of the biggest things that she learned on A28P was that she was so proud of herself for once in her life, and she was not seeking the validation of anyone else for this month. Do you know how big that is?
Because that is big. And that's a victory.
That's a
victory.
Very big victory. And I think that we always get stuck in the weight loss and this and how I look, blah, blah, blah. But that if you've been seeking validation your whole life, like, tell me I'm good enough, tell me I'm pretty, tell me I'm this, tell me I'm that, you're going to probably live a pretty fucking disappointing life. And at that moment, you were giving yourself your own pep talk, your own validation. And I just think that that's so fucking powerful, Victoria. So thank you so much for sharing that and being so real and raw, because I know it's not easy stuff to talk about, your darkest friggin' times in your life.
Right. I mean, they're dark, but I want to, especially, now I want to start using them a little more to help other women, because I think women do perceive all the women that they see who are successful, who are happy, who, they feel are wearing what they like. And, we're getting stuck in the little stuff, which isn't that little stuff. It's important stuff, but we're not, realizing, or people aren't sharing that their journey was not always, and doesn't continue to be always. And, my daughter just got married. It was the most beautiful moment, but I, always say at that and I had pictured myself dancing and, whatever. But honestly, I was almost, I was trying to process it. It was hard for me to process that my daughter, who had been such a, important part of my life, it was hard to see that it would continue and that our relationship would morph into something, even greater. Right. And it has. But that, the night of her wedding, I always say, my face was blank, and this was not even a year ago,
right.
And I had to, really try and process it and honestly kind of deal with it for a couple of months, where that was my purpose. I would get up in the morning and, I did all my things, but my kids are my true, I tell people when they make vision boards, they have to think about what they want to feel, not just what they want to have. And they have to define what those feelings are. So often people say, I want to be successful,
What does
but that
mean?
Means something different to everybody. For
That's
me,
right.
it was being able to make sure my daughter graduated from college. She, had the wedding that she wanted. My son gets the care he needs. He lives with me. But I have people, come in and work with them on life skills and things like that. That's my definition of success. And when my daughter graduated, of course, taking the spotlight away and to myself, no, but I felt like I graduated too, because I got her through it and I made that payment and I saved up and I did without, but I knew, that she was going to make something of herself, which she did.
And it's so funny because I obviously know everything about your journey as far as like you being a makeup artist and all these things, and how many faces that you've done and beat that have been like super, A-list celebrities, Miss USA, Miss Universe, like you've done it all. And to hear that you weren't like, yes, doing Jennifer Lopez's makeup was the most successful thing. You were like, I want good care for my son who has special needs. I want to be able to pay off Chloe's school. I want to have this freedom in this way. No, nowhere in there did you say, I want to beat the faces of A-list celebrities. Zero.
No,
but that's what people think success is. And that's what fucks people up, Vic.
That was a vehicle to get to have my success, which was, and so when my daughter, now is getting married to a wonderful man, moving to a beautiful home 10 minutes from my house.
Love it.
Because it was nothing less was allowed or more was allowed. But it's quiet in the morning, and my purpose, I had to really shift, my purpose. And I'm like, hey, guess what? I can, meet a friend for lunch, but you do have to constantly, as a woman, redefine yourself, and you don't have to redefine yourself constantly in a tragic light, because that loss, of her, in a roundabout way, not truly, but it hit me in the core of the loss of my mom, my dad, my husband or ex-husband, my vision of my son, those were all losses to some degree. So I'm like, oh no, I've got to prepare myself, and I went, no, wait a minute, this isn't, I have to redesign it.
Yes.
My uncle Ernie, Ern,
I do.
My other mentor, he would say, if you don't like it, just create it and recreate it,
Damn,
and that truer words have not been spoken.
Absolutely.
It's like writing, how many we see these movie stars, go to different movie roles, and they're constantly reinvented into a different version of themselves.
Yes.
So I feel like as women, we have to decide exactly what we want and then start making small steps to get there. And it has to be holistic. I mean, beauty, like I said, is an inside job, and it's got to start from there, but you have to connect to your power source, or you can't take the next step, know?
How do you connect to your power source? I mean, I know, but I want you to tell the girls out there how you do it.
Well, it's really important to me, that women do understand. That's what I love, again, about all of your programs. But nutrition and honoring yourself is so important. And what I mean by that, whatever your form of nutrition or eating right, which would be not processed foods, making sure that you're eating the foods that work with I always say, we're kind of like a machine, which helps your machine function most efficiently. Drinking water, doing the proper things for yourself, first of all, believe it or not, is the ground zero.
Yep.
It's honoring yourself, because if we treat ourselves like garbage cans and we eat things, it does it does things to our brains.
Well, people think that they have depression and they have anxiety, and it's like they don't realize that 90% of their depression and anxiety is coming from what they're putting physically into their temples, that they're treating like trash cans by eating too much gluten, too much sugar, too much alcohol, dyes in food, the genetically modified or the GMOs, like
processed.
Oh my God. And it's crazy. And people go, I don't know why I feel this way. And I'm like, well, I just saw you eat a bag of Skittles, and literally it's full of dye, and your synapses in your brain are not going to fire right. So you're going to feel like a fucking depressed bitch, obviously.
Exactly. They are blaming, people blame themselves. I'm so stupid. I forget everything. I have anxiety. I have no energy. No, you do. You're just poisoned.
That's
okay.
Right.
Surprise.
Absolutely.
Surprise. Okay. So that's important. And then creating morning rituals. It starts from the morning.
That I'm the morning ritual whore. I'm all about the morning rituals.
You know how I like to stimulate my pineals.
Yes. So you do.
So I believe 10 minutes of sunlight, deep breathing, saying your gratitude, those things, developing rituals that are going to help you be better. I'm writing a book, as you know, and I talk about
exciting.
Yes, there's so many, we get so many, I call them negative pings, it's like, and that we can't overcome it because we gotta program in the positive pings,
That's right.
that electrify us and light us up and connect us to our power.
Right.
We've got to constantly, and I mean, I remind my family of that, my husband of that. I say, he's getting his master's, and he has a amazing job. He travels, and I said, what have you done as a positive ping? Have you stretched, gotten sunlight, walked, played with the dogs? You have to constantly program that, or you become negative. It changes. So that's how I connect to my power source. What
are you dropping over there?
I know I dropped
I'm laughing right now because you guys can't see us, but we're both in our I'm in my podcast studio, and are you in a podcast studio or in your home office?
No, I'm in my office at the Academy of Glam.
Oh, and then you have the whole setup there.
I have a little setup. Yeah, I have my computer,
Your
and
light.
my light. Yeah, the light just fell on me, but
It
whatever.
happens. Oh my God.
Whatever.
The show must go on, Victoria.
Yes,
The show
the
must go on.
show
So I
must
love how
go
you're
on.
saying the positive pings because, like what you said, like if you are eating trash, right, and drinking, and I talk about this all the time. You wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you roll over and you check your freaking phone and you check let's go on Facebook, let's go on Instagram, let's go on TikTok. And it already starts wiring your brain in the morning after you are in that sleep state to start in that, kind of like you're like a rat in a Skinner box, right? It's like pressing the cocaine, pressing
think
the
about
sugar
that.
water.
Think about that disconnection. So your eyes open, you feel alive, and you can immediately disconnect from your life and look at everybody else's life.
Oh.
That is the time that I say do a mind movie, of what you want in the next couple of months. And see all the positives. I teach mind movies and vision boards. And then, and only then, after you go to the bathroom, I drink water right away because it's just, it's so important that we rehydrate. And I go outside in the fresh air, and sit. Now, of course, I'm probably wanted by the police. My neighbors see me out walking out and God knows what. But I always go outside, sit with my dogs, hear the birds, connect with nature, go barefoot and walk in my front yard, my backyard.
Grounding, honey.
Grounding, and that sets me up. And then I can look at all the fun things on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. But I get in my own face first, know, and that's how we reconnect.
Unless your vision board is on your phone and you are looking at your vision board on your phone, do not pick up your phone first thing in the morning because then you are literally giving your amazing energy that you just had restored from your sleep time to the world. Right. And it's all bullshit. It's all fake. You're looking at everyone's highlight reels. You think everyone's doing more than you. You think everyone's doing the most. And you don't know what's going on behind those freaking pictures that have been face-tuned up the yin-yang.
But even if it is, even if it hasn't been face-tuned and it's the most glamorous and glorious of events, that's okay. Let's celebrate it. But first, let's
celebrate yourself.
Worry about, plotting our own life,
right.
And our own positive experiences and our own faces looking better and our own, fabulous trips.
And it's a distraction, right? So like if you're waking up in the morning and you don't want to face your own face in the mirror, there's a problem that you have to go look at everyone else's life. It's a distraction. It's just like
disconnected from your power source. And
totally.
then let's go and, shove, donuts.
Oh God. Yeah.
Now, is a donut, can you pick a donut from nature? No. So probably
listen,
not a good idea.
We're not saying don't ever eat anything ever again that lights your fancy.
Because I'm Greek and we don't mess around. No, okay.
No, I mean, it's true. If I could wave a magic wand, I would say don't eat any of that shit. But I think that when you eat it, make sure that you're doing it with intention. And not just like, oh, I don't feel so fresh, so I'm going to eat a donut because I know for 20 minutes it's going to make me feel good. But you're going to feel like dog shit in the long run.
The exact prescription for failure, feeling like shit, then it attracts you feeling like shit.
Yes.
And know that, when you are going to give up some of these things or you go into your program and it's going to be hard for a couple of days. And people say to me, well, I'm hungry. And I'm like, so, it's not going to kill you. Yeah.
And it's like, what are you hungry for? Because we as a species evolved to not be eating 6 meals a day and all complex carbohydrates and all this crapola. I mean, if you really study evolutionary, biology with food and what we were consuming, et cetera, right? So like, what are you really hungry for? I know for me, because I love food, I'm Portuguese, you're Greek. Our whole lives are revolved around when we're going to eat and what we're eating and how we're eating it and right? But when you think about, okay, I'm hungry right now. Well, are you really hungry or are you overwhelmed? Do you have anxiety? Are you tired? Did you not protect your energy that day and you saw all these clients and you just allowed them to siphon all of your life force energy from you and now you feel low vibrationally. So in your mind, you're like, oh, I'm hungry. No, you're not. You're probably 95% of the time not hungry.
The best way to tell if you are hungry or not is to allow yourself to have any of 5 things that you don't really like. And you'll say, Yeah, I'm hungry. Well, you go eat, whatever.
Go eat some liver. Go eat some liver and onions,
Right. No, you're
No.
hungry for pretzels.
Yes.
You're hungry for, and that is giving your power away. That's giving your power away.
Because it's lowering your vibrational frequency. And when 100%. Your vibrational frequency is low, like attracts like. So all these people go, I don't know why I can't find the man of my dreams. Well, because is the man of your dreams really the man of your dreams at this vibrational frequency? Ew.
Are you the woman of your dreams?
Oh my God, thank you. I'm shaking right now.
Okay. No, I had a client who looked at me and she says, now this is a person who had like the inside of a burrito on her shirt. Probably dropped on her shirt from the car.
Yes.
Probably had not brushed her hair, whatever. And she looked at me and she says, I was coaching her. And she says, if my husband doesn't get into me and, like in like a month, I'm going to leave him. And I looked at her and I said, are you into you? And she goes, pardon me. It's true. She says, pardon me. I said, are you into you? Do you... When you look in the mirror,
you do you, bitch?
Yeah. Are you inspired? That's all I'm asking.
Oh my God. I love that you tough love your clients like that too. It's so freaking funny.
Because I'm Greek. We can't help it.
No, I think it's like the more ethnic you are, the more like you just, because we just got beaten when we were kids and told no and like soap in our mouths. Like we don't mess around.
My mother, Ruth, would call it like she saw it. You know what I mean?
I love that though.
And you know what? That's what people need.
Yeah.
In nice, loving. I asked her, I said, and she said, I never thought of that. And I said, so put the man, elf on the shelf, and let's not worry about him.
Yes.
The greatest love affair, ladies, starts inside you. And if you are not having it, you won't get it.
Preach it, honey. Preach it, honey. That's why when you are out of shape, you're not taking care of yourself, you haven't done your hair in 3 weeks, you haven't put on even a lip gloss or anything, and then you wonder like why you're not living your best life. It's like, honey, you have to take pride in yourself. And I love that you say this to your clients because I think the best coaches make people think outside the box, even if it feels very stingy and hurtful in the interim.
But it's true, and it just is reminding her to forget his feeling about her and let's concentrate on her feeling about her. Because I said one of two things will happen. Okay. I make this speech all the time. One of two things will happen by doing that. Either A, you'll be so inspired, it inspires you, or B, you'll realize you look great and he's a jerk and it's easier to leave.
There you go. Absolutely.
But the first love story has to start with you. When we fall in love with someone, whether it's friends or we fall in love with them because they mirror what we're thinking. So in other words, they'll say, God, you're so sexy, and then you'll go, oh, I am sexy, and it's a drug. And you'll go, you're so funny. And he'll be like, I'm real funny. And it's like a drug, and he'll do something nice and you'll do something nice and you look cute and he looks cute. What happens down the road is people go, Jesus Christ, you're always late, and he's like, what are you spending? And then you're like, did you shave? And you start seeing yourself in that darker light.
So right.
Yeah. And so love is like a drug. We can choose to love people, but we have to choose to love ourselves first.
Yes.
And so that starts declining, we're like, oh, it starts with you, and I'm not even talking all about looks. I'm talking about everything.
You're talking about energy, man.
Energy. I'm talking about energy, and energy is the power source.
And you know what? So many people come for me because I always say, and we talk about this all the time, you and I, is you have to be selfish with yourself. And if you are going around and you are lighting yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm, it is not helping anyone. And, I always say, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Everything in your cup that's filled to the brim is for you. And the only time that you should be giving anything else is when the runneth over is happening, and you can give people the overrun, not what's in the cup. And so many of the women that come to me, and I'm sure the same thing to you, is they come to me so tired, so broken down, so jaded, just like, what is the point of life? And within like a snap of a finger and a couple of days of tough love from me, from you, they start to shift their energetic vibrational frequency. And then they're like, oh my God, I have been my own problem all along. I think it's my husband. I think it's my children. I think it's my job. I think it's the way I was raised. I think it's my friend group. I think it's all these things, but it's not. It's you. You are your own biggest fucking problem.
It's not the way your world looks. It's the way you look at your world.
Yes.
And your vision starts inside.
Yes. Yes.
So it's always the meanest, most negative people are more self-loathing.
Yes.
You know?
So
the
freaking true.
Best thing we can do is really establish that relationship with ourselves. You know, there are people, you know, I'm here, you're here. There are people who are happy to help you take it step by step, you know, and find your magic.
And you don't have to do it alone. I think everyone just feels so alone, like, oh my God, I got to do this alone. No, you don't. You really, really don't. But you have to ask for help. No one is going to come to you and be like, ding dong. Oh, hi, Victoria. You're having a dark night of the soul. Well, let me come in and help you. No one's going to fucking do that. No one is coming for you. No one's a mind reader. You have to ask for help, whether it's getting a psychologist or a therapist that you can work with, or getting a life coach or a transformational coach or a success coach, or joining like an A28P where you're in this group environment, right?
Yes.
Like,
and even, you know, you're here, so we have the message for you because you're listening to a podcast that helps you better yourself.
Right.
And that's what you need to surround yourself with is constantly surrounding yourself with positive affirmations and energy, whether it's resources like podcasts, like programs. Your program is affordable, whether it's, you know, buying yourself a lip gloss, and, you know, I want you to positive ping. Look for positive pings every day.
I love that.
To start really counter affecting the negative pings.
Yes. And I love what you said, because I think a lot of people think, well, I have this group of friends and they're not very supportive. Well, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather have you.
Well, then why is it your group of friends?
There you go. Well, that's number one, obviously. But the second thing is, I think it's like, it's okay to be alone and to like go to podcasts. And even if like you go on the Ambitchious Podcast or your podcast that you have with Chloe and Duke It Out, by the way, good little plug right there, Duke It Out. If you go on these podcasts, we can be your friend circle. We may not be going to have dinner with you guys and having cocktails and stuff, but you can listen to us and feel like you are part of something bigger. And guess what? Your energetic vibrational frequency will start changing because you're not getting all this trash energy from all these people that you think are your friends. And then you'll start finding the right people that are going to be your peer groups.
I'd like to also say that friends are, you know, like men. No, not any one friend is going to give you everything that you need. And it's too much of an expectation, or one man isn't going to give you everything you need. That's exactly our point, is that you need to be everything you need.
Yes.
That's why I said, do you inspire yourself? Do you support yourself?
Yes.
Do you love yourself? Then don't expect it of everybody else. It starts there.
Oh my God,
they don't have to bring every little piece to your life and make it right.
And how dare you think that they should? Like,
well,
what the F?
That's just a flawed way of thinking that. In fact, I'd say 90% of women find themselves in traps that do. I realize that I have maybe 5 or 6, you know, real close soul friends. Now, one cannot provide everything from business to child rearing to advice and information and support. But each one have a gift.
That's right.
You know, and one is, you know, inspires me in business, inspires me in life, inspires me in, you know, in how I look and feel. Just like people that hopefully that you're following on Instagram and things like that. I follow Dr. Hyman and many people that I take little pieces of and they inspire me, but that doesn't mean that they have to save my life. You know,
no.
Each brings gifts and magic. And you can bring gifts and magics due to your friends, but you don't have to be all things to all people.
Oh my God, I love you said gifts and magic, and then that chime happened.
I know.
It's like we have a freaking sound, like a sound effects in the background. I love this. Oh my God, that's perfect. So Victoria, what is next for you? What's next for us? I want to talk about that. This is like real good fun stuff.
Yes, there's a lot of exciting things next. I think we have decided now there's nothing to indicate this except we've decided that 2023 is going to be our best year. We always say to each other, don't you think next month is going to be the greatest month ever? We're like, yeah.
Oh my God. That's actually how we talk to each other. But I will say during COVID, we were trying to always bring each other up. And there were days like that we were both like hot mess expresses. But it's so funny how you can look at yourself then and be like, whoa, I've really done a full level up during the last 2.5 years.
That's because, that was really hard. And I'm going to make one official statement. It was really hard because no one knew what the hell was going on. We didn't know, is the world ending? Is the world shifting? So it was hard to kind of, bank on anything. So what I did during that time was I'm just going to keep getting cuter. I don't know.
Yep.
And I was swimming and, but that was hard and it was hard for us. Now we know basically, let's move forward, folks.
Yes.
So what is next for me? So 2023, we've had to pivot, obviously.
Beyond.
So I have a school for makeup artists. And what we've done for that is we've added, you can become a makeup artist from the privacy of your own home. So people actually can take our courses via Zoom, and actually the teacher interacts and you get your certification. Awesome. I say you come on down and do a photo shoot or two with us. And a lot of people do both, but we still have students coming to our school. I've also noticed the need for helping women brand themselves and market it. So we do that for social media. We make them up, we do their hair, and then we have a photographer who do lifestyle pictures who's amazing.
I love that. So it's like very branding photo
It's all
shoots.
about branding. And we'll film a reel for you. We'll teach you how to do a tikka-taka. I had an older lady who's very successful, like one of the most successful women in the world. Yes. And she said to me, hey, can you guys help me do a tikka-taka? And I'm like, okay, honey,
I'm dead.
But we help you do all that. So we have a whole branding department. I brought on somebody. It's going to be a surprise announcement, but she's a transformation expert as well.
So fun.
Who will be working with me, and she will be coming to your Bitchapalooza. So she's amazing, and she'll be helping with hair, makeup, transformation.
That's amazing.
I'm bringing some great members of my team. I'm so excited for that, honestly. Oh. So I'm going to be there the whole time. I am going to be there as your friend to help facilitate, but I'm going to enjoy, really enjoy the experience.
We're going to have so much freaking fun. So Victoria is coming in. She's staying with me for the weekend. She is going to be at Bitchapalooza, which is January 6th, 7th, and 8th of 2023. And like she said, she's going to be facilitating, but I want you to really have fun.
I'm going to have fun.
You're going to have
I'm going to be dancing my ass off at the pajama jammy party.
You have no idea. Oh, wait till the Bitch Olympics. Oh. The Bitch Olympics happen Friday night. That's going to be a freaking hoot. And yeah, we're going to be dancing our asses off on Saturday. But then on Sunday, Victoria is going to be closing out our Bitchapalooza festival with hair and makeup and styling and beauty tips. And we're going to just zhuzh ourselves beyond imagination, right? Like it's going to be so freaking next level.
It's going to be like Beauty Academy 101. I want you to really master the things that are going to make a real difference in the way you look and fast.
Yes. I love that.
So you'll feel beautiful when we go out to dinner.
Yeah. So we're going to have a limo come and pick us all up, bring us to the Capitol Grill. You know how I roll. I rented the Capitol Grill out for the whole afternoon.
I know how you roll.
And we're going to have an incredible Mistress Mind dinner. It's going to be me and Victoria and our good friend Maureen Hancock, who's one of the most famous mediums in the world. And she is going to be doing mediumship readings on everyone during the dinner. I know. Isn't that exciting?
Wow. Yes. It's amazing.
And there's only 20 spots for that Mistress Mind dinner. So once that sells out, we're good to go. But the best part of, I think, my weekend, other than all the things I just said, is after we wrap that Sunday, you're going to be here on Monday and Tuesday as well. And Danielle Boujan is coming from Miami. Famous Danielle Boujan.
Amazing. She's done the Housewives and all kinds of people.
Incredible photographer. And she's going to be doing branding photo shoots, lifestyle photo shoots, and just like photo shoots to have, like you always say, every woman should have a beautiful picture of themselves.
Every woman.
Yeah.
So I want every woman to have that picture because that's, there'll be no, tomfoolery. That is what lives inside of you.
Yes.
That's your power source. That's you at your power source. So I think every woman should have a photo shoot that brings all the gifts that you see when you admire other people's pictures on Instagram and everything, and you become the star of your own picture.
I love that.
And that I want that next to your bed, blown up, and I want you to look at it every day and go, that is who I am.
Yes.
That is what lives inside.
Absolutely.
That's, attaching to your power source.
100%.
So Danielle is so loving and kind. So fun. She's Brazilian. And then I'll have hair and makeup artists. I'll be there doing my thing, but the voodoo I do.
Yes.
And just making everybody look and feel fabulous.
And I'll be shooting too, which I'm so excited because I haven't had freaking pictures since 2020 because literally you were the last plane out of Dodge when you came and did my photo shoot before the whole world locked down. Can you imagine?
That was so
fucking crazy.
It was crazy. And that was the last plane.
Literally out of Boston.
We went into total quarantine.
Literally that next the next couple days. So when you come to Bitchapalooza, you're going to be with Victoria the whole weekend. Then on Sunday, she's going to be doing the full hair, makeup, glam, living your best, beautiful life.
I'll bring all my products too. So if
That's
this is
exciting.
the greatest time for you to really look at what you need. And
so they'll be able to purchase all your products there. So if you beat their face, they're going to be like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And they can have it right there. I love that.
It's a new year. Okay.
Yes.
You need a new makeup bag.
Yes.
And we'll find all the exact right colors and
all that beauty. And then we'll have our mentorship, our Mistress Mind dinner.
Yes.
And then on Monday and Tuesday, we're going to be booking the spots for the photo shoots. And what I'll do is in the show notes, you'll be able to go and look at what it actually entails and to be able to purchase your spot. And we're only going to be doing this for 2 days. So space is very limited. Very limited.
Very
so if you're like, hey, I want the best pictures I've ever had, and to work with Victoria and her team and Danielle, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, really. It really honestly is. It's kismet for those 2 days.
We're going to be there and just knocking them out. But it's a big deal. People fly in from all over the world and it costs 3 times the amount.
I know.
But this is something that we wanted to do. And in fact, I rarely do it. That kind of a thing. But this is something that we really wanted to do to make sure that you felt like a goddess and you felt powerful and you had that. So, it's something that I think you're taking payments, right? They can make it maybe in some pay. It's not, it's not doable. It's really, very doable.
It's very, very cost effective.
And there's like 5, didn't she do like 5 edited images? So that's a lot of great pictures.
I think it's actually more. So it's two looks and all the edited images. I can't remember the number, but I'll put everything in the show notes so people can go and check it out. And then also check out Danielle's Instagram so you can see all of her incredible photography.
It's amazing.
This is exciting, Vic. I do feel like 2023 is going to be a huge year for you and I.
What a way to start the year with we have a lot of our friends.
We have a lot of secret stuff, you and I, going on too, that no one really knows about. We're going to keep that in our back pocket.
We got secret sauce that is going to blow your minds. But I am going to be, and I know we're going to be 100% present to help you evolve. Start the year right, and that's what I love about this. It's like a happy new you, you know?
I love it. So if you guys are looking to come to Bitchapalooza, I think we have only a couple tickets left. We'll have all of the information for the Victoria and Danielle photo shoot will be in our show notes. It will also be on my website. Victoria, where can everybody find you if they want to check out Academy of Glam and your makeup and all of your goodies?
So they can go on to Instagram under Victoria Duke Beauty. So you'll really learn more about me. I also have a school called Academy of Glam. If you want to, anybody's listening out there and really wants to be a certified makeup artist, we were named the best school in the country to study makeup.
Wow.
Yes. So, that's really, the school is my reward. It's my gift to watch people. My makeup artists are some of the most famous makeup artists in the world, including we have Cardi B's makeup artist, who started out we do a lot of life coaching, but she started out so quiet and shy, and she's making millions, and she's
Huge.
doing an amazing job. Some of the biggest influencers have come from our school, and just celebrity artists and success stories.
Love that.
So, and our program that they can do it, it's 18 weeks. They can do it twice a week online, and they can come in anytime they want. If they want to fly in for a week and do some photo shoots and all that stuff, it's incredible. They get their box, their supplies, and their certification for $1,500.
Oh my God. I want to do it.
I know, because people become a certified makeup artist, and it's a whole other side gig.
Holy shit.
We have a class starting November 28th. So
nice. Right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Perfect.
DM me if there's anybody. But on our Victoria Duke Beauty, I do I'm starting to do tutorials.
Yes, I saw that. It's so exciting.
And I'm doing makeup motivational moments. So putting on a little makeup while I give you a motivational thought. And I thought people need that. I mean, there's people that are putting their makeup on and doing telling horror stories.
Yes.
And people follow that like crazy. So let's do motivation.
Right. And Victoria is also a teacher, an educator in Ambitchious Academy. So she just kills it in the academy. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's so fun. And the girls absolutely love it. And, I know that a lot of people think like Ambitchious is just like the motivational, inspirational, like life stuff, but you really bring like all the beauty and all the self-esteem, self-confidence to all these women from all across the globe. And we are all eternally grateful for you, Victoria Duke. And I just love you.
God.
I like
love
a fat kid loves cake.
I love you. You inspire and delight me. And that's who you have in your circle, girls.
You have to have people like Vic who inspire and delight. And if they don't, kick them to the curb. It's not worth it. They ain't going to change, honey.
Or at least give them the low show times. That's what
I love it. Oh my God.
So, bring it up, bring the best on the center stage.
I love it. Any last words to inspire and titillate our ambitious ladies from all across the globe? Any parting words for Victoria Duke?
I mean, the only parting words that I haven't said, which is probably everything right now, is, you're experiencing what you create. So create something wonderful. You really are the master of your own ship. You are you are the one that creates your destiny, and meet yourself where you are. Take every step in the right direction via podcast, take a walk, eliminate a piece of processed food. Those are all things that help continue to make you more powerful and more productive and successful.
I love it. Thank you so much, Victoria. This was absolutely amazing.
My love, I had so much fun. I always do.
Same. Thank you so much for being on the Ambitchious Podcast. And to all of you out there in Ambitchious Land, as you know, I don't sell rubber underwear or my mattress pads here on the Ambitchious Podcast. So all I ask
Where
is
can I get those?
I'll send you some in the mail. Especially the rubber underwear part, because we're going to need it for Bitchapalooza, because I think both of us are going to piss our pants like we normally do, because once you and I get along, we pee in our own pants. Oh my God. But all I ask for you guys is to share it out and to be crusaders for the Ambitchious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday.